Welcome in, friends. Hello. I hope everybody is having a marvelous day today. So today we are in my group, a Tees Paper Crafting Friends Unite. Well, Tees Paper Crafting Friends event group. And we are doing summertime fun. So up before me was This Chick Crafts, which is Miss Vicky. Let me get myself into the group right quick. And I am over there. Hopefully our friends will come on over. We've had a really nice and fun event so far. So if you've missed anybody, you can go and catch the replays, okay? So when I think of summertime fun, I usually think of like watermelon and things of that nature. So I want to decorate a gnome that I have. This is from the Dollar Tree. I don't know if they still sell these ones or not. But this one has, the top looks like a watermelon. And because we are paper crafting friends, I am going to be using a napkin. And I'm going to use the napkin to decorate the top part of the hat, which is, you know, it's meant to look like a watermelon. So that's what we're going to work on. I do want to see if I can pry this piece off. I thought I did. I thought I did get myself into the group. Is it not showing? Alright, I will do it again. But I thought I did get myself there. Let's see. Thank you, Miss Vicky, for being in today's event, my friend. I appreciate you very much. Okay, it says that I'm shared there, so let's go and check the page out, the group, and see if it's there, because sometimes it's weird. Yeah, I'm there. Okay. Alright, so let us get back to crafting. Thank you. I don't know why it didn't get me over there, but thank you so much for looking at that. I appreciate you. Okay, so I'm going to take my craft knife that has a dull blade, because I honestly, you know, use it for stuff like this, which I probably should not. But that's just, you know, that's just me. And here we go. So I took the little nose off, and I'll have to sand that down. And then while we're at it, let's see if we can remove the part here of the hands that are holding the little watermelon. So as y'all know, I am trying to use items that I already have in my stash. And so I like the idea of trying to use up our stash, right? Because we all end up accumulating a stash. That's just, you know, I think it kind of comes with being a crafter. Whether your stash is paper or your stash is, you know, other things. I think we all somehow end up accumulating things. I don't know, this one might not want to come off. So up after me is going to be Miss Carla. So make sure that you stay tuned. We still have 3 more presenters today. With our last presenter being Miss Jamie at 8 o'clock. So make sure you stay tuned to see what she's going to do for this summertime fun event. Next week is our Just Journaling Around event. It'll be on Wednesday and Thursday. And it's also a summer theme, or you could do 4th of July if you want. So that's going to be another one that's going to be fun. I will probably be working on my 4th of July journal that day. So but one of the things, even if it's a regular event, you know, we are paper crafting friends, so you do need to use some paper element. And for this one, like I said, my paper element is going to be the use of a napkin. Okay. Not the best, but it'll do. So I am just going to try and get some of this off. So I hope everybody so far has had a good hump day. Wednesday, it's the middle of the week. Can y'all believe it? It's the middle of the week. It's already the 3rd day of June, which means we're halfway through the year. Like, where in the world is time going? It's going so fast. It also means that we are getting closer to my retreat, which will be which is held at the end of July. There are still some spots available for in-person as well as virtual. So if anybody's interested in being part of that, just send me a message and we'll get you all set up for either option. So if you're in the Oklahoma area or you're willing to travel, it will be July 31st. So definitely let me know. Let's try to get... My daughter just messaged me right before I came live to tell me that she was on break. And I asked her how her day's been going so far. She said it was going well. So that's good to hear. She's at work, so she was like, last night she was all nervous, like, what am I gonna take to eat, what should I do, this, that, the other. So all the nervousness, right? Okay, now when you are applying a napkin, okay, it is a good idea to put white underneath, okay? This will help you have very strong colors of your napkin coming through. So that is what we are going to do. Okay, we are going to paint this with a little bit of white just to ensure that I'm going to be able to see all of this properly. And while we're at it, let's go ahead and just take this off. It'll make it easier for and then we'll just reuse it afterwards. Okay. So does anybody else like to paint or decoupage with napkins? I'm kind of curious to know. And there is a... Hey, hello there, Miss Chandra. You caught me, yay! And your old is so scared I can't even get him to get it. My daughter was the same way. Okay, my daughter was the same way. She, like, I was so used to, like, the boys, you know, they walked to, you know, places that were at the time near wherever we lived, and they walked, they, you know, applied or talked with the person in charge about a job, and then like my middle son, he walked to a coffee shop that was because he used to like walking to the park and to go sketch and read and stuff, and he would stop at this coffee shop, and one day he asked about work, and they were like, well, you're a minor, you know, your mom needs to come and talk with us. And so he came home and I was like, Mom, I went to this coffee shop and I'm, you know, they need to talk with you because I'm a minor. And I'm like, yeah, that's kind of how that works, sweetheart. I was like, I didn't know that you were gonna, you know, do that, but okay, sure. And then my oldest, he, you know, he walked to a few places, same thing, that were in walking distance, and came home and, you know, filled out applications, and we took him to the interview. But yeah, so they were always gung-ho. Like, they started working early. My daughter has been scared to death, and when I'm like, hey, Caroline, I mean, you know, your brother started working early, you know, one right at 16, one at 15, so, like, you know, what's going on here, like, and she told me she was too scared, everything else, so it was really hard. But she talked with, you know, her brothers would talk with her, and yes, they would tell her, like, there's bad things that happen, and yes, you're gonna have to deal, because her thing was she would hear them talk about, like, you know, crazy customers, and this, that, the other, and how sometimes the bosses would be, you know, a little demanding or whatever, and so that didn't help, but they were like, no, you gotta get, you know, and so they helped, they talked, and she's actually working for Publix, which is where my oldest works. He was like, it's a good, you know, it's a good environment, you know, he's worked his way up now into management, they're not in the same store though, and so he was like, oh, I know the store manager at the store there by, you know, y'all's house. He's like, it's you know, yes, there's gonna be bad days, yes, there's gonna be bad you know, customers or employees or whatever, but he's like, you know, it's still a good thing, and you need to, you know, you're not going to have mom paying for everything for the rest of your life. That's not going to happen. You know, and you're going to want to be independent. And so them talking with her did help. I will say that. It really did help to get her a little bit more comfortable with the idea of going to work, because she just did not want to do it. Her therapist has also helped a lot. So I put my glue mixture down, which is 3 parts school glue and 1 part water. So it's like Mod Podge. And I'm gonna dry it because I'm actually going to do the iron-on method so that I don't mess up my napkin. Okay. But I knew that me telling her was not enough, so, and I know how close she is with her brothers and how much she values what they tell her. So I was like, hey, can y'all please talk with her and encourage her? Because if she's not going to go to school, she needs to work. She needs to do something. Because the kids have always known. I mean, you past 18, you can be under my roof, but you either have to be working or school or both. Like, you have to be doing something. You're not just gonna be here playing video games. That's not gonna happen. So they've all known that from a, like I said, from a good young age. They've known that. Alright, now with napkins, we have to make sure that we take all of the plies off. So she was getting a little nervous because, you know, she was graduating, and then she's turning 18 as well. And so I was like, well, yeah, Caroline, you know, you didn't want to go to college, so that means you've got to work. I mean, you've got to do something. You just cannot, you know, like, not. So, and that has helped for sure. So we shall see. We shall see. She says that she's working with a gentleman today called Mr. Courtney, and that he's really nice. And I'm like, well, that's good. So she's having her break right now. And don't throw away your under napkins, because this one, you can actually see it has a ghost image on it. And you can use it for a faint background image, or you can use it to just add texture to your project. So don't ever get rid of them. Alright, and because napkins are so frail, and they can, you know, easily wrinkle and have all of these things, that is one of the reasons why I put my glue down and I dried it, so that now I can position this however I feel like I need to position it, right, to get the best image. And that is one of the nice things about if you do the dry method, is that you can move your napkin around. If this would have been wet, forget about it, right? I would have tried to pick it up there and I would have torn this. So I'm going to go right about here, making sure, yep, okay. And then use a piece of parchment paper, not wax paper, so wax will melt, but parchment paper in between your surface, your napkin, and your iron, or whatever. Like, I'm using a little mini press, okay? And what this is going to do now is this is going to reactivate the glue. It's going to heat the glue up, and the glue is going to stick to the napkin and stick it to the wood or paper or whatever surface you're using. Glass, mirror, I mean, you can use napkins on so many things. You cannot use the iron-on method on some surfaces, but you definitely can. Alright, so see how that is, and I don't have that many wrinkles. Now the wrinkle that I do have is the one that the napkin already had, so it's fine. It is what it is. Okay, and we'll turn that off, and now we're going to take this off, and I'm just going to use, you can use an emery board, I'm going to use my little gator. And whenever you are taking your sander to your surface and napkin, you're going to want to go in one motion down. This is for napkins, this is for paper. You want to go in a single motion down, pick it up, down. Don't go back and forth because you're liable to tear your paper or your napkin, okay? And you can put napkins on paper. They make for great backgrounds, great layering addition. So if you see pretty napkins, pick them up because they are a beautiful little material to use. Alright, and then I still have the rest of this napkin that I can use for something else. But you know, my daughter has a lot of social anxiety and things, so working with her therapist has been really good. Her therapist even told her, you know, that yes, you know, work or you know, going to college, being around people that are her age would be good for her. And things of that nature. So there's that. Alright, so we have our little hat done. We also have the option of using something to make this beard actually look more beardish. I'm gonna go ahead and paint the clothing part. And I actually pulled out this tropical green, which is kind of like a teal. I thought that would be a good, like, contrasting color. You know, helping them also find something that they might enjoy doing is also really good. But like I told my daughter, I'm like, geez, child, you're getting paid more than what I used to get paid. Just because of how the whole minimum wage thing has changed. So, my biggest thing is, you know, the boys are independent, they're doing their own thing. I really just want her to be able to get to that point as well. And I know that having to do life and, you know, new things is scary, but you know, you'll never know if you like something or don't like something unless you try it. And like I tell my daughters, like, you can't go through life being scared of stuff. I'm like, do you think that I'm not scared of failing or not doing something good? I am. It might look like I got everything together, but, you know, I go through those emotions as well. You know, and it's important for them to understand that, you know, we've either gone through those same emotions, or that we are going through those same emotions, you know. I told my daughter, I was like, the first time I had work, I mean, it was scary, you know. My first job that was not with my dad, that was like out of the house, was teaching English and as a second language, and most of my students were older than me. So it was definitely intimidating, because here I was, an 18-year-old, teaching, you know, 20, 30, 40-year-olds, because they were having to learn it to be able to keep their jobs because of how the world has evolved, you know. And then trying to teach Spanish to foreigners who were coming because, you know, they were coming in like exchange students or whatever to learn. And still, I mean, they're older than me. It was definitely intimidating. And you have to learn that balance of like staying to yourself, but then still being open. So let's try to get this arm here, which is where so the best thing we can do is encourage the young people in our life. I know things are scary. I know adulting is scary. You know, just all the different things that happen. You know, I'm very, very happy that, you know, my 24-year-old will still call me to ask for advice on stuff. You know, even though he's been living on his own now for several years, that makes me happy, right? Knowing that he can still use my advice, right? Now, I'm not sure about this part here, because this here, like, this is like the inner ear, and this is supposed to be, I guess, like the outer ear? I don't know. We'll wait for that. We'll wait and see what happens, because that just looks weird. But, yay. I'm excited to see, no, Miss Vicky, she was doing, like a little travel folio, which was super cute and fun. And, yesterday, I was in a journaling event, and I was explaining the difference between a traveler journal, traveling journal, and a travel themed journal. Because there's a difference. And some people don't realize that. Okay, now where did I put, because we got to get this nose. And see, here's the hands. So obviously the hands are going to have to be in a skin tone color, which I did bring. This one here is called light coral. It's kind of like a light peachy color, and I thought that would be a good fleshy tone color, if that makes any sense. So we'll do that. And I think I'm going to see if I have like beard. Yay! Hi, Miss Carla. I'm glad you're home safe. I'm gonna see if I think I have like some furry stuff, and I'm gonna use that probably for that part. So let's get the rest of this watermelon, and now I'm kind of curious if we could use some of this in here, and may just do that. What am I looking for? I'm looking for a small. So it's got a little, like I said, it's got a little bit of like a peachy, pinky undertone, but I think it'll be good for the nose and for the hands. You could obviously do the skin tone in whatever color you like. I'm curious to see what Miss Carla will be doing for her summer vibes. Like I said, to me, summer is all about fruits, and like I said, I think of watermelons, because this is the time of this is the season where we see them, and they're the sweetest, you know, it's during the summertime. So, thank you for sharing. I appreciate that. But I think this is a good color. It kind of goes along with that whole like very summery vibe. I mean, you could totally do a tan color, and you know, Mr. Gnome ended up in the sun a little too much while he was farming his watermelons, because that could totally be possible. I know I saw a picture of Miss Carla in the pool the other day. That looked like it was awesome, especially for a nice hot summer day. I was actually thinking of a what should I be doing as far as a cruise goes, because I want to go with Gare in November again. So trying to pick out one to do. I'll end up doing it before I go on a craft cruise with my friend again. I know Miss Subi was saying that, you know, she does not know about a cruise because, like, she doesn't know how to swim. And I'm like, well, you're on the boat, silly. You're not supposed to be swimming. And she's like, well, what happens if, you know, worst case scenario? And I'm like, worst case scenario, they've got lifeboats. This ain't the Titanic. They actually, you know, have protocols in place, and you have your life vest, which will keep you afloat too, just in case if you did end up in the water. But I know my son yesterday was kind of on lockdown because they're experiencing a typhoon over there, and so they were staying indoors, which is good. I was glad to hear that they were taking precautions. Oops. I need to restock on wipes, evidently. Got like 3 wipes left. Need to restock on wipes. That's crazy how weather can be, right? It'll be one way over here, and not too far from us it'll be something totally different. My brother was telling me that it was so stinking hot right now over in Europe. And they don't have AC. Yeah, it is scary. I know, believe me, it is scary. I am grateful, like I said, that they are taking precautions, and you know, I mean, structures are built differently over there. It's the same for like the earthquakes, like they are used to that kind of stuff. So, you know, they are kind of used to, they're kind of used to that. I want to see if there is a way that I can use some more of this napkin. But yeah, it's definitely still scary, that's for sure. That is for sure. It is still scary. But I am very grateful that they do have things in place. That's my cornstarch. Because you know, you put cornstarch on molds. That way things don't stick. Alright, so I am going to just put glue on this, and that way I can manipulate where the green is going to be. I mean, it's like the homes in Costa Rica are built for earthquakes. Why? Because that is, you know, that is common. It's a common occurrence over there. Here, no. Here, not so much, right? So, but you know, if you go like to Tornado Alley, you have the homes that are built with basements and things of that nature, right? I mean, again, everything is, there's stuff in place. It's like Tybee Island in Savannah. They know that there's always flooding of the ocean coming in, so they tend to build their homes and their homes are actually built on stilts for that purpose. You know? I'm excited to hear when I go pick up Caroline later this evening how the rest of her day went. Like I said, I really do hope that it all goes smoothly for her. You know, it's big steps when they start going out into the world. And like I told her, I know it's scary, but you know, it's gotta happen. And it's better if it happens now, while you're younger and while I'm still around, because you never know what might happen. Then you end up being a child that is like so dependent on mom and dad that you know, can't do anything. That's not good either. Alright, let's see how we do with getting this off. You know, there's nothing wrong with being scared, but at the same time, you cannot let fear dominate you. Because if not, you'll never do anything, you know? So does anybody have any special plans for the summer? Anybody going on vacation? Doing anything of that nature? You know, any of the fun stuff? The only vacation that I'm doing is the retreat. So that's going to be fun onto itself. Okay, so let's try and cut. Let's see if I was able to cut it. Okay. That's gonna be like the big trip this summer, is going, you know, we'll be doing the trip to Oklahoma. That's gonna be like the big trip this summer. Other than that, nope, not really. Don't have anything in plans. Yes, exactly. That is like the fun thing this summer, is to be able to see you, be able to see all the rest of the lovely ladies. Like I've met Miss Lori before because when she's visited her kids here in Atlanta. We've met up for lunch. So that's always been really, really nice. So I've done that before. I've met her. But I have not met Miss Yachty, so that'll be somebody new. I'm just so grateful that I get to be able to spend time with so many of y'all lovely people. Caroline's excited too. Alright. Now, I will have to touch this up with a little bit of some paint in here, but for the most part, we have a watermelon, right? I'll need to like do the little seeds, but other than that, because those I'll have to paint on. So who here likes watermelon? Ironically, I was never a big watermelon fan, believe it or not. Growing up, I did not like watermelon at all. That's kind of something, isn't it? So I'm going to use a Sharpie, and that's what I'm going to use to help me. And because I did not paint this white first like I did here, I can actually see the engraving spots where they had for like the seeds. So I'm going to follow that a little bit here. And then we'll just color it in. I don't know if I'm gonna go this year, but if not, then for sure I'm gonna go next year for my new little nephew's birthday. If I don't make it for his birth this year, then I'll definitely make sure that I'm there for his first birthday. Be there to support my sister. So if I don't do that because it would actually, I would have to go right after the retreat, because she is due towards the end of August. So we shall see, we shall see. I'm taking the retreat as my early birthday celebration, since my birthday's in August. It's like that's my big early birthday celebration. So there we go. What y'all think? See how that looks now with the little watermelon seeds? I think that looks really good. And then I did try to patch this up a little bit over here. I think it looks okay now. Oh, we need to paint. I put this away, and we need to paint the ears. He's got like these droopy ears right there. So we need to paint those ears. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. I have some fur, so I'm not gonna glue this down just yet because I want to put fur on for the beard. And I think it's gonna look really cute with like some actual like fuzzy right there. And then The nose goes right there. I think it looks really cute. So let's paint these ears. At least I think these are the ears. That's what I'm thinking they are. So if you guys have not been watching today's event, you can catch all of the replays in T's Paper Crafting Friends event group. It is a free group. You don't have to do anything to join. Just come on in and have fun. Watch all the replays. You know, if there's from previous events, as long as they're within 30 days, you know how that goes, because FB started changing rules on us. But you can watch all of those replays there, which I think is awesome, because that way you get to see what others have been doing. Next week is our Just Journaling Around event, and it is also summertime fun and 4th of July themed. And we'll have 2 days. It will be Wednesday and Thursday of next week, so mark your calendars. Come and join us, see what everybody's gonna do. That'll be journaling related. I was so excited to do the little doors yesterday for the fairy event. No, that wasn't yesterday. That was on Monday. I did those on Monday. Yeah, Monday. Monday we did journal doors. Where did I put them? Where did I put them? I put them somewhere. Now I don't know where I put them. I was gonna show you guys. But yeah, these are the ears. They're kind of funny looking, but oh well, it'll be alright. Biggest thing is I'm gonna have to come over where I came, where I did the turquoise. I'm gonna have to come over that a few times. So that's just gonna require drying and doing all that. Where did those things go? Because I really wanted to show you guys. Could have sworn I had them. Ah, here we go. So if you guys watched the live on Monday, or you can watch my replay, and it's also on YouTube, we did some little doors, and these can just be glued into a journal. This is what the glossy accent did to the mushrooms. See how shiny they are? And so you open up the door, and look, we have the fairy, and we did her wings as well, so they're nice and glossy. That's the door. And then this one is this door, and same thing, you open up and you can see how her wings are nice and glossy. And then we did the tops of the caps there. I do want, now that I can close this door, I'm going to do those tops as well, and I want to add some little like gems. I think that'll look really cute. And then over here, just add some little gems in the middles there as well. But yeah, so these are the doors that we did on Monday for the fairy themed item, but event. But again, it is an element that can be added into a journal. So hopefully you guys like that idea, and we'll go check it out. I have yet to decide what type of journal I'm making with those, or which journal they'll go into. But I think they're really cute. It's super fun. Okay, so just trying to come on over here. Ah, thank you. I appreciate that, Miss Amy. How are you doing, dear? Miss Amy is in our event today too. Thank you, Miss Bonnie, for the sprinkles. I appreciate it. So with summertime fun and using some kind of paper, we used a napkin and this Dollar Tree gnome that I had. Because remember, I'm trying to use up, that's been my goal this year, is to try to use up the stuff that I already have. And I'm not going to glue it down just yet, only because I do have fur somewhere, and I want to add that for his beard, so it actually has the element of fur. What do y'all think about these ears? They just look weird to me. I know it's how the cutout is done, but it just looks so weird. I don't know. I just feel like they're very weird. Very weird looking. I don't know, whatever template they used when they were cutting these, it's just odd. How about that? You think one stuff is on? I'm going on a cruise vacation. Ooh, how fun. It's annual family reunions in August. Oh, that's, you know what? That is actually really cool. I know somebody else who does like family reunions in August. But that's actually pretty neat. Yeah, we don't do that kind of stuff. At least, you know, my family doesn't, nor does Gare's family. But I think once I put the fur on, it's going to look really good. And I'm going to hop off so that I can go and get Miss Carla shared in. Make sure that you guys stay tuned. And like I said, we have 3 more presenters. We have 6, 7, and 8. So make sure that you stay tuned to watch Miss Carla, Miss Amy, and Miss Jamie. And thank you so very much for being here. I love you guys very, very much. Enjoy your hump day.